Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. Welcome back, brothers and sisters. Greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Welcome back once again to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. I am just feeling in the good vibes, and I am throwing them out at you. Take some love, take some joy, take some appreciation. I am so grateful for all of you, whoever you are. Those of you who've already stopped in, you're part of my celebration, man. I freaking love you guys. Sincerely. People like you make my life fun. And brothers and sisters, that's today's topic. I am filled with inspiration today. The topic, I'm prepared. I'm excited for whatever this stream might bring forth, whatever the universe may, bring up and emerge together. We're going to find out. I've already dropped the link for those who may want to join, but I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. The topic today, it was inspired. It was inspired by the thumbnail again. Thespian Theater Thursday. Just because some people are fueled by drama doesn't mean you have to attend their performance. How wise is that? And life is a production. It is a performance. So what I offer with that too is direct your role beyond the drama. And watch that you don't become part of that dramatic production from others. What happened there? Well, that's what I was trying to do. Direct your role beyond the drama and watch that you don't become a part of the dramatic production from others. Because there's a lot of others in this world, the world that is out beyond yourself. The world that is not really in your control. That world that's out beyond yourself, it's got goals for itself. I mean, everything that, holy cows, this ties into other thoughts. I think everything that comes into form has somewhat of a life of its own. And the life we are sharing, brothers and sisters, there's a lot of people who want us to assume different roles with them. That's how this authority nonsense works, right? Authority works when people believe and they obey. And then everyone pretends like, rules apply to some people, but they don't apply to others. This special immunity that some folks carry in their occupation or their profession. Let's not point fingers of blame. It's not anything singular, but the idea is you don't have to attend the dramas. You don't have to participate in the dramas. This world has a lot of people pretending like they know what is going on. And if you look, if you watch, if you pay a little bit of attention, you find out the majority don't really have a clue. And that includes those people like Joe Biden and Donald Trump. They're confused as can be, but somehow there's people confused enough to believe that they are legitimate choices for, holy cows, man. One of these days, actually, very soon perhaps, maybe we'll just have a stream about the topic of leadership very soon, because it seems to be something that people don't really understand. People think that leadership applies only to a few or to just, those other people. Bullshit. You're either a leader in your life or you are a follower in your life. And if you're a follower in your life, guess what? You are going to be part of someone else's goals, someone else's production, your employer, your community, the taxpayers. We all play these different roles with each other and in the world. So, what I want to encourage everyone to do, right? Take a more leading role in your life. Recognize that the rest of the world, they are just cast members. You didn't get to choose. You didn't get to choose the show that they are playing, the people around you. But you can pay attention to the world around you. The world is a stage. Was that Shakespeare, I think, right? The world is a stage. Perhaps it's the devil's playground. Idle and confused minds, man, they succumb to all sorts of foolish behavior. Praise God. Praise God. Praise God. In all its perfection, in all its glory. It's evident, it's clear. The intelligence that allows the universe, the space and form to come together in time or through time. It's like, wow, man. I am a guy who believes in infinite space, but it could be like we are on a snow globe. It could even be that we're just, I don't think we're pods. I don't think we're just like the Matrix. I don't think we're just energy pods somewhere having these hallucinations of a dream of life. But life is certainly not as it seems. This life we have been given, this world we've been given, it's quite an amazing adventure. This is what I've been allowed to learn in my lifetime. And in this lifetime, in this experience as Jack, starting out as a little kid and growing up into an angry teenager and then a drunk, confused adult. In this lifetime, I've learned a lot, man. One of the greatest lessons I've been learning, it appears that it's being challenged more often these days. Okay, my faith. I mean, I choose love. I choose love, and I'm wearing what I believe in. I want the world. I hope for the world to awaken to the glory of God's production. God created this day for us, created us so we could enjoy the day. We could participate in the day. We could create the day together with God, with each other, with all that God has created for us. It's a pretty humbling and pretty cool game once you stop and accept it. Praise God, man. Praise God for all the glory of this world. All the good that is from God, and God's goodness, it is always, all time. It is. God's goodness is abundant. Can you see it? Can you feel it? Can you find it? Even the specks of the goodness, they're available to be found in every single moment. It's what I've been convincing myself, even through periods of severe pain, right? My teeth, I had a couple teeth break and fall out. And I had I don't know, felt like something was cracked in my ribs for a while, but body heals. And even in the periods of pain, I bring this up because I know there's others who are dealing with pain on a pretty regular basis, and it sucks, man. No denying it. Pain sucks. But You can focus on the pain and the misery and the lack of comfort you might find, or switch your mind. Because even in periods of darkness, even in times of pain, there is a light of goodness to be found. I'm confident of that. I mean, I can imagine times where it would be near impossible to find the goodness from the moment from many perspectives, right? I know there is evil in this world. There are many very cruel, very sick people who have been enabled, right? There's been some very cruel and sick people enabled either by profession, right? By by corruption, by corruption. It's the only way that evil rises is through enabling of corruption. And only the corrupted are going to enable, but who's the judge? Right? How do you know who's corrupted and and who's not corrupted? How do you know who's honest and maybe just confused? Given my own past, the life I've lived, and the stupid things I've said, the stupid conclusions I used to come to regarding race, regarding gender, regarding all sorts of stupid crap, man. I was so, we learn from our mistakes. And brothers and sisters, I am a wise man because I've survived many, 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 many mistakes. But I don't feel like this is a mistake, right? Sharing honestly with you the encouragement, the inspiration I feel regarding our God and the love of God that is available to be known, certainly available to be imagined. Imagine, for some people, it's hard to imagine that there's even a God. I understand that. I do understand that. When I take the idea of God being a being out of my mind, right? I'm not worried about its gender or its form. I'm just acknowledging its practical existence, right? The glory of perfection, because nature, man, nature has a perfection to it. There is an order and a beauty to the chaos of a jungle, of a forest, right? Through that chaos, there is an order and a beauty. It's wild and it's danger and it's unforgiving, yet at the same time, it's so fragile. What I've heard of the Amazon forest, right? That's getting desecrated, pillaged by those of us, by people like us alive in this generation. Holy cows, man. I didn't realize how destructive humans were, but luckily there are humans alive today who have been studying these things, and at least paying attention. So we have the warning signs, we got the signals that what humanity has done as a collective, it's not really working that good, right? We're killing off innocent people, innocent animals. We're destroying vegetation. We're polluting every bit of our home. I'm talking about Earth. And when I'm saying we, I'm talking about human beings, right? All of us. We don't have to be so parasitic. We don't have to be so controlling and domineering and trying to we don't have to be so selfish, brothers and sisters. That's what I know. The humans I know, the people who I have met genuinely all around the world. Man, I've met some people with just great hearts, man. They'll give you the shirt off their back. They'll give you whatever they can. I've met wonderful, good people just like me. And yet at the same time, collectively, we've been deceived into being selfish. Selfish in the way we spend our time. We sacrifice so much of our life. Why? To earn this nonsense of money. The only reason we have to do that is because people have been convinced to be selfish. If we weren't so focused on profits and debts, which, by the way, that's selfish, if we actually practice the sharing of resources, the sharing of wisdom, sharing the beauty, the creativity that we can bring forth. If we find ways to share those things together, could you imagine Earth, what mankind could do? I mean, because let's face it, there's been some damn creative people, very intelligent people who figured out stuff like those fancy mortgage derivatives that everyone was gambling on with their retirements and their futures, all this, false investment that the bankers imagined and was funded, bailed out by the taxpayers, maybe you and me and those of us who used to participate or have been participating. How about I say it like that? Who have been participating? Because I don't deny I used to be a regular part of this society. Praise God. Have we stopped for that yet? Let's take just a moment. I mean, the topic of the stream today is the glory of God's production. So, I mean, praise God. Sincerely, the God of our creation, right? The true author of history, right? The one who reveals time for time to be experienced and documented by people. That God, the author of history, man, praise God. Praise God in all ways. You truly are magnificent. That which created all of the world and all that may be known, right? Think about all the human beings you've learned about from your education and your experience. Think about all the people in history, all the things that people like literally spent their lives studying various different toads, right, that are somewhere on the earth, and other people studied the chemicals that are derived from the toad and the way that chemical interacts with the organisms on different animals, and then eventually how it ties to people. That's like, holy crap, man. Humans have found out all sorts of amazing things about this world. And let's face it, as I understand, like 80-90% of our oceans have not really been explored. We've got so much here on Earth that has yet to be discovered. And then there's these other scientists, biologists, these people who are dedicating their lives, not, they're still doing their part so they can pay their mortgage and pay to put their kids through college, right? They're doing their things, but a lot of these people in sciences, they're looking at what is happening with the world, right? There's animals becoming extinct. They're just like disappearing. They can't survive with us anymore. And I'm not saying it's entirely people, but Man, it's time for people to change. And I think we all know this, right? I think it is time for humanity to grow up, pull everyone's heads out of their asses. We can stop doing this finger pointing of blaming and excuses and waiting for someone else to do it, right? Brothers and sisters, I think this is our lifetime to bring the change that the world is needing because we've got all the answers. All of the answers to all the world's problems are available right now. The matter is connecting the answers and solutions and in with the right people and then getting agreement and cooperation that brothers and sisters, do we want to stay slaves and trapped in the past, constantly fearful about the future of our family or mankind? No. We want to create the future that our ancestors will be grateful for, right? Or the future generations. wouldn't wouldn't that be better than what's been going on? I mean, the past few years, not just here in America, but all around the world, man. This nonsense of experimentation, medical experimentation and deception through propaganda and fear and all sorts of things have been happening over the past few years. And brothers and sisters, do we take life seriously or not? You know, at some point, we got to ask ourselves, what is serious? What is important to me? Why is why do I have a role here on earth? Is there what is the why behind the answers? See, that ties into another thought I was thinking recently. Many people are focused on the what they observe. And so hear a lot of memories, a lot of repetition of details. So there's a lot of what people observe. And then there's a lot of who is doing this and the what, but the why, the whys have been very illogical or they've been absent in a lot of people's explanations. So I encourage you, brothers and sisters, what I've been looking at myself often is why. Why am I? Why am I doing this? Why am I pursuing this desire? Why am I pursuing this goal? Why am I speaking? Why am I? Those whys, if I'm not paying attention, if I don't have an answer of why, how accountable am I? Right? I should be able to explain my everything. And I think a lot of people don't realize their why. They just go through the motions out of habits and reactions. And really what has happened is many people have normalized a state of confusion and they don't even realize it. They live in a constant state of unease, perhaps panic or fear or resentment, just these uncomfortable feelings. That's not healthy and it's not normal. Okay. We are here to feel, I think, well, based on my recent experience, I believe the majority of time we are here, we are probably supposed to feel divine. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it because it's like, man, it feels good to feel good, and gratitude feels good, and I'm damn grateful and damn proud. Pride feels good too. I'm damn proud and damn grateful of my practice of gratitude because it is becoming strong, unshakable, in fact. And here's something that brings us into another topic, something I started on earlier in this monologue. What I've noticed is that I do, by my experience, situation, and words, I tend to trigger people. I tend to bring up feelings within others that cause reactions. Now, I've been growing in my practice. I try not to react to reactions, you know. I try not to return rude behavior and such when I perceive it, but I'm growing. Anyway, the point is, I'm at a point where legitimately my faith is being challenged. It's being tested. The topic yesterday, and there's been a lot of gossip and inquiries, but yeah, where are we at? I believe today is my 30 days, according to the notice that has been received by me. So that really is not a very big deal, right? So what? So I've got a termination date on a rental agreement. It's not a big deal. People experience that all the time. It's always business and commerce, and it continues. Life continues. So I've noticed that the last year at about this time, as people know me and as it got closer to the auction date of my home, people seem to get more vicious. People care, and so they react, and it's been kind of attacking me for the situation I find myself in. Well, I'm not the situation, and I'm not the one who's to be entirely blamed. Um, the point is, my faith has been tested, and I know those who care about me, maybe your faith is being challenged a little bit as well. That's part of the life we're given, right? That's what God does. Every day we learn different things, and we choose. We choose who we attach our feelings, our time, and our attention to. We choose all that. So, for those of you who do share and attach your time to me, attach your care, God bless you. I sincerely do appreciate you. That's another thing I started with in the stream. It's you, those people tuning in and included in the numbers, right? Those of you who are part of the data that I see. You bring me great joy. You're a part of my experience, and I enjoy my experience as me. So I sincerely do love everyone who has been a part of this. And where I'm going with that, back to, if you've attached your care and your attention, if you've invested your care, your time, and attention to me, please trust those investments are not wasted. And I actually think you keep your faith in me as I have my faith in God. You have your faith in God, that God will allow the good to succeed because I prove my way. I am good. I am as good as God allows. I am as good as I allow myself to be. And I genuinely do try. Okay. So my authenticity, my honesty, this is who I am. And praise God, for it is God that brings all things into being. And all we may ever know, all we have known is the limited time that we have been. And all we can truly, truly know is this moment. So, can you find joy and wholeness and completeness in this moment right here with me, like there's not a problem in the world. There's none. Now, if after this moment, if you want to pick up different problems, well, that's a choice you get to make. But if you can put them down, trust in God. The problems are not ours to bear, they're ours to discover, right? That's part of life. We discover the problems, but guess what's beyond the problem? The solution. Okay. Now, sometimes the solution to a problem you find in the world, sometimes that solution you find, maybe you're not able to do it. Maybe you don't have the resources or the connections or something like that, but you find the solution. See if you can find a way to share it, right? Share the solution when you find problems, because we've got a world that's entirely backwards, brothers and sisters. Sincerely, the world is entirely backwards, and I can explain these words in several different ways. Okay, so it's time for all of us to wake up, to stop playing along with this stupid facade of governments and wealth and this big division where everyone is at war with each other. Everyone's competing with each other. This is nonsense. It is. Praise God. Praise God that we get to live and get to discover that there's better ways for us. And there are. There are some innovations and discoveries available right now for men and women like us, right? Alive today, breathing they're breathing air today, and they've got solutions like you wouldn't believe, man. And then many of the people alive today with those solutions to help change the world, they've been standing on the shoulders of giants who came before us. Because this is what I recognize, brothers and sisters, you and I, we are all a part of some great big tapestry of humanity and knowledge and history, that it's a magnificent story I can imagine, right? And our creator, our God, the one that has been fought over and, named with all sorts of things, that God, man, the one that allows us to be alive, the one that allows us to think and believe anything we want. It doesn't even have to be true, and we can believe in things. How cool is that? See, that's a creator that knows no matter what we do, we can never outdo. We can also never really cause damage beyond that which would be allowable. Okay? I believe our God is that perfect that while it has allowed us to deceive ourselves, when I'm saying us, I mean the humankind, people in all nations and all colors, you know, maybe some of the primitive cultures, maybe some of the few cultures who have stayed, either either kept it real tight. This world we live in has been so confused because the world doesn't understand the value of knowledge, certainly has very little respect for love. And I'm speaking of the collective. Because if the world actually cared for love, we wouldn't have the economic disparity that we currently face. We wouldn't have single moms trying to raise children, and we wouldn't have this insanity of refugee camps and people starving, literally, as people in the Western world we're like shipping out our trash to other nations because we throw so much crap away. And a lot of it's good, a lot of it's edible food. Food is wasted for profit while people go hungry. Praise God. Praise God, because with God's grace, I know there are better ways. I know humanity does not have to stay stupid. This was actually a topic I was going to get into, and I welcome, for those who are interested and present, those who, huh, those who wish to join are welcome to do so. If you wish to join the conversations, that is. That's what I was looking to do. But this just reminded me of another topic I'd been considering discussing. The difference between uninformed, ignorant, and stupid. I think there's distinctions and varying degrees. They all come down to being uninformed, but there's, you can go through your life and never experience something or find an answer to something. You can be wrong in your throughout your life in some way until you learn differently. So there's uninformed. Now there's ignorant. The ignorant actually have access to the knowledge. The answer is there, and maybe the signs are there that there's a different way. So there's a difference between uninformed and ignorant. And then the stupid, I'm going to come back to this in just a moment, to the chat. Blessings. And then the stupid know there is an answer available. They not only refuse to investigate, but even when shown that they're wrong, they ignore it. They argue against the facts. So each of us have a choice. We can stay uninformed or ignorant or stupid. Please don't stay stupid. We don't need more stupid people in this world. God knows that. What is this? Take Old Radio. Welcome back, brother. Thank you for the contribution. The world knows the power of knowledge and love. That is why both of those two things are hidden behind poverty and control systems. Brother, that's it. Yep. Look at the current structure of today, right? Even though there are good and bad things from everything, right? So I don't want to be just negative nor blindly positive. I don't agree with the academia and the structures of the institutions of education we've got. But there is value in there, right? There's a lot of opportunities for children, young people to learn and to really transform a family. Bring in some education, bring in some opportunities for people to learn, and man, that will transform. You will have changes. In today's society, though, knowledge is, for the most part, things are not always as they seem, but according to the main ideas, knowledge is kept behind a paywall. Right? You got to be able to go to college in order to learn. That was the lie I told myself, right? And it was foolish. But if knowledge is kept behind a paywall, and love, man, love is used for control. manipulation, propaganda. People have been studying people for a long time, man. So, thank you, Stay Gold Radio. And golly geez, right on top of that, Joe Moore, blessings and thank you. These contributions are very, very appreciated. Um, I'm not gonna lie, man. Right now is a time of uncertainty for me. It's God is testing. God is testing us all. But what are the tests for? The tests are to prepare, right? You go to school to learn. And kind of unlike school, go to school, you learn, and then you are tested. In life, as you go, you are tested and you learn through the tests. If you don't learn through the tests, you're going to get tested again and again and again, and it'll repeat. So, looking at the patterns of my life earlier today, I was trying to observe what might be next in my future because what is looking from today, it's not looking great, but I know things can change like that in a day. In a day, a life can transform, good and bad. I truly trust and know and believe in miracles. And I got faith that somehow that God is going to prove my words true, right? Why did I start down that? There was something I was going to get to. What I've received from my faith, from this experience of my life, right? I talked earlier about how I've lived a lot of different lives in this lifetime because I had different structures of beliefs. I've transformed myself in a number of different ways. Now, whether other people recognized it or not, I don't know. Dude, at this point, I don't know what anyone really, I know what very few people think of me. I, I, my faith, the result of my faith, has been the absence of my guilty conscience, my resentment, my shame. My faith allowed me to overcome those things, to overcome my shame, to overcome my resentments, to overcome my guilt. So my faith allows me to have a clear conscience. My memory is involved with that, right? My memory is that I have made efforts to make amends, I've offered, acknowledgments and apologies where I truly believe I've been in the wrong, and I've apologized and acknowledged my slightest infraction, even when people didn't really care. They didn't even notice it. So I feel good. I feel good within my mind and within my heart. Within my heart, I have faith. I don't just have faith, I have a feeling of such divine pleasure right now. And it's been with me, like, not just all day, but it's been with me a while. This feeling, physical pleasure. It's like I close my eyes and I can disappear into pleasure. So if God allows that to continue, dude, I don't care where I go or what might happen, man. God is so good. God is so good. So, so good. The way that time has shown, right? The way that time has evolved, it has grown, it has emerged. The way time has unfolded itself into our being and who we are and where we are today in this world. It's like mind blowing, dude. Our God, man. I hear me getting mocked. I made the mistake of turning that punk Paul on earlier today, and I get mocked. I get mocked no matter what I do, man. It's like people are, I can't please people no matter what it seems. And let me not despair, let me not disparage, because there's also wonderful people who do see what I do. So let me not just focus on the negative. But there's some people, man. The lack of gratitude and the it's unhealed trauma is what I see. I see unhealed trauma and just confusion all throughout this world. And maybe not necessarily in the individuals, but I see it in individuals too. It's in the greater happening. But this is what's so amazing. This is what is so amazing. You, whoever you are, tuned in right here and now. You, when you awaken, when you heal, when you grow in your self-love, your self-care for the purposes of knowing you better. Knowing you helps you better understand your relationship to the divine creator, right? So as you turn to you more, to know you through increasing your self-awareness, developing your practice of self-care, including meditation and prayer and exercise and paying attention to what food and drink you're putting in your body, just with a little extra bit of care, your life can transform very quickly. And as I've heard it said, right, because we are one, we are the universe, the one verse becoming conscious of itself. We are each perspectives of awareness in this vastness of infinite awareness, infinite consciousness. It's just beyond us. The infinite consciousness and the infinite awareness is just beyond yours, right? Beyond your limited awareness, your limited consciousness. But the point is this: when you surrender your limits, to the infinite and allow yourself to become one with the infinite, you stop imagining separation from the infinite. As you grow in your awakening and become more conscious of you and your part in the oneness of the universe, it sends ripples. This is what I've heard. I can't prove this, but it makes sense that when you transform and break free from the good, bad, light, dark, the confusion of the 3D matrix, and you bring yourself above into the path of unity, into the expression of love without condition, which you are, which we all are. We are the expression of love without condition, but we get the free will. We get the free will to imagine all these conditions and all these names and all these explanations, but it doesn't change the fact. Doesn't change the fact that God's love is always with us, and we get to share it. So I encourage you to feel and receive God's love with you. It is for you, but it's not for you to keep, it's for you to share. We share the love that we are through our actions, our good deeds, our authenticity, our honest testimony, our cheerful participation in what the earth, what the world is bringing. Man, that's how we can simplify our lives. And this is how we can each create a better world. Welcome and blessings, Jay. Hope all is well. I want to say I'm serious about the offer I made yesterday. If I oh, if it that was you offered a room, I believe, right? And yes, I respect. Thank you. Thank you. I trust. I trust as the time gets closer, the details will work themselves out. But my prayers are big. What did I do today? Oh yeah, today I went and made connections. I applied to become a volunteer. Got to go through the background check stuff and all that stuff, but which is good, which is good. The idea is there's an organization here in town, Youth for Christ, which is beautiful. Helping some of the youth in the community. So I went and checked that out and had conversations with I don't know, the director, someone there, the guy there from church. Anyway, the glory of God's production. The author of creation, right, is our creator, the God that brings forth the day. And each day we get to choose what our part is going to be in the little part of the greater story that we are a part of. We are each the narrators. You and I. We are the narrators. We are the storytellers. We get to tell what is real. We get to define what we experience. We get to kind of pick and choose which parts of the story we include, we ignore. It's a vast responsibility that God has given us. But this world we were born into, okay, in the greater picture, this world we were born into, it literally profits from lies. It has normalized conflicts and wars. It has made sick and evil things normal because with the excuses and blame, right, that prevent things from being fixed. Speaking of, I didn't pay attention to the news closely today, but I understand Julian Assange is again, there's like another trial, something going on of is he going to be shipped to the US and persecuted for his roles of sharing information after the guy's already been. Anyway, I know there's a lot of things going on right now, brothers and sisters. There are things going on in this world far greater than what someone said to you at work, or what someone said about you in the classroom, or what someone said to you or about you on these YouTube platforms. Holy cows, man. People, we are alive right now, and I'm inviting all who are willing to join me. I believe a greater world, a better world is waiting for us to know. It simply requires us to stop trying to be so controlling. Okay, what I have found in my path, in my relationship with God, what I want to offer to you, my practices of surrender. I've mentioned these things before. I've grown in my practice of surrender, of acceptance. So the world, so you get some bad news, right? And it hurts. Okay, accept it. So what? Now what? Okay, that's really the process. You get some painful news. Ouch. Fuck, that hurts. Totally changes the future I was looking at. All right. Well, I guess I got to accept that. So now what? That's how we live, right? Took me a lot of, screaming at the walls and cursing at God and not fair. It's not fair. Yeah, and the voice in my head comes back. So what? So what if I think it's not fair? So what if we have an opinion about something? What matters is what we do, right? And this world has been profiting from chaos and confusion. This world has been profiting from enabling oppression, enabling misery, enabling suffering. Come on now. Are we enablers? No, I'm not. Maybe that's why nobody likes me around, because I don't enable their excuses. I think that's what it is. I don't enable people's excuses, and that's why they don't like me around. People get offended at me for pointing out what I think is obvious. Um, if he thought that would do him any good, he would have done that with the last 6 damn years. He is lazy. That's simple. Can't say you're wrong. Are you willing to let me make it make sense? Because there's obviously answers, and I mean, here and again, so I'm ridiculed for doing something and not doing something in the same thing, right? So this is fascinating. But here, so it makes sense. I have been wondering, should my time and efforts be spent volunteering? And I've made, admittedly, minimal efforts. I've made a few efforts checking out some opportunities, and nothing really called. I was never really acknowledged, accepted, welcomed. So I felt it wasn't my way. Now, this other one, Youth for Christ, just the name of it stood out for me. Because really, Christ is there for the youth. The youth just need to know it. But if there is youth there for Christ, man, praise be. So I started thinking that, I am praying for a miracle. And if anything, I know there's ways to even kick the can, so to say. I know there's ways to renegotiate a lease or do something if I had options. But on my own, my options are limited. So I thought if I am more active, and I've been trying to get people's attention in Bible study, and I've introduced myself and asked for times with different pastors. So I've been pursuing relationships in the community. So the idea is as well that my my focus is not on money. Guys, here's where we are. This is what I was talking about. people's care is going to keep, I'm going to keep facing people's doubts and their disbelief because I have faith and they don't. So then I'm constantly told to explain myself, improve myself, but my focus is not on the money. It's not on the being challenged. Yes, and I don't understand why. Why am I being challenged on your doubts and your insecurities when I could easily be supported towards my success, towards success of my goals? See, my goals is not focused on the money. I'm more concerned about the past relationships. I've mentioned this. The relationship of my son, the relationship of my past union and former employer, right? I claim there is injustices and injuries that I've been dealing with that I'm attempting to overcome. So why do so many people insist on challenging me? That's what I don't understand. Sterling Ray, I mentioned, okay, when pressed and asked, how much do you need? I actually need nothing. I owe nothing. 300,000 would be the offer that they bought the house back at, and I don't know if even that's enough. So I'm not saying I need anything. This is another thing that is so fascinating to me. In my pursuits to become more one with God, which I feel the love of, I feel the faith that I imagine Jesus may have had. I imagine his love is here with me to comfort me and to share with. So ever since I've turned that corner and I started practicing more self-love, self-care, and trying to become more one with God and love, there's been fewer and fewer people who seem to care or want me to receive what I want. It's like my wants and desires are like nobody seems, very, very few seem to care, right? And Provo, what is denial? Denial is exactly what you are showing, brother. My focus was not previously on money. If we're honest, the majority of my focus is on peace. It's on God. It's on love. It's on self-development. Well, I could do a show on denial, sincerely. I'd just restream Pauly for a little bit, just a few minutes, and I'd have a ton of characters and candidates for evidence of denial there. And I'm telling you, brother, you're kind of projecting. I don't focus on the money. I really don't. Actually, you know what? I don't like being proven wrong. So, okay. So maybe I momentarily or for a short time, I focused on money. Because I'm not ignorant. I mean, here's the thing. People play both sides on this, right? I do require money to survive, just like you and everybody else. Now, I know your answer and many people's answers for money is to go get a job. Okay. If you actually listen to what I say, you would, if you actually tried to understand why I say the things that I do, if you tried to understand me, You might feel better about being yourself. You might waste less time trying to tell people like me what to do, Provo. Yeah, you are in denial, Provo, because for whatever reason, you've not. I know what I've said. I know what I have explained to you. I know what you could have heard, what you could have understood. And for you to not have any interest in you and I talking? I mean, how long ago have I reached out? How many times do I have to reach out to get a conversation with the almighty Provo? I mean, you're you're speaking like you're some authority and expert on me, dude. With your distant relationship, you don't know what you're talking about, man. You guys are fascinating. These in the chat, I don't know what you're trying to accomplish, really. Sterling Ray. Hey, Provo, you can either come up or get out. Okay. Simple as that. I'll block you or time you out if you continue without coming up for a conversation. Here we go. At least through this stream, maybe. So, the glory of God's production. Each moment Each moment is God revealing something to you about your experience. Now, not every moment you observe maybe has a deep meaning for you or a conscious meaning for you, but every moment you observe is your experience. So, are you paying attention to what you're observing? Or are you paying attention to your thoughts of what you're observing? There's a difference. There's a difference between being present and actually having conversations with someone, actually being there and connected to the experience, sharing the experience of a conversation with someone else. Oh, I miss those conversations. All too often, what I see is people physically present, but mentally in the past, or off in a memory, or off in some tangential thought that really isn't related to what I've been wanting to discuss. It's why there has been recorded reactions from me. There's plenty of reactions I've shown to people who are here sharing time on the panel and yet just seeming to ignore me and what I've been saying. So I am grateful. I am actually grateful today, brothers and sisters, sincerely. I think I'd almost rather continue with the monologue rather than have people just taking up time, even though the longer streams seem to get more attention, more views. I'd almost rather have lesser views if it's just me, with the belief that those people tuning in are actually tuning in to hear me, not just for the chaos, not just to, and not just to harass. I have I have within me the faith that the new world we are here for, and this is what I feel is happening. We are here in this time, at this time, in this form of humanity. We are here to bring part of the shift. We are here to become, um, we are here to bring the new world forward. Now, the new is a play on words, right? Because really, this is eternal. There's nothing really new under the sun. We're here to rearrange and redefine and recreate. This is what life is about. It's a magnificent dance of light and form, authored by a creator, co created through us, with us, for us all. And it's not created just for us today, it's created for the future. Because I was thinking about this on driving to the youth center earlier. Everything we see today, from the roads, from the roads to the vehicles to the houses to everything we see, it's not from today. It was created in the past. So really, we are experiencing the past every day. Hey, there was a little lag when you were connecting, but I think you're here. Welcome, Joe Moore. Good to see you again, brother.
Shalom, Jack. Good to see you. Yeah, I'm lagging. It's a phone connection, right? I don't have like a router that I work off of. I don't believe in that router bit being in my home.
Hey, good for you. Your sound is actually very clear. So you're grateful to have you here, man. I don't know how long you've been tuned in. I've been going for a little bit. Our poll, Provo, well, he was continuing his pattern of provoking, and it turned out to be more of a distraction. So I try to reduce the number of distractions in my life, along with the number of excuses and blame. So, sorry, were you here long? I asked and didn't answer or allow.
Yeah, I've been here pretty much since the beginning. I'm paying attention. I feel as though, is it compassion and awareness, a little bit of empathy you're looking for? Like, just to realize, people go through things and not everybody is built the same, right? And I do find that, sometimes it's difficult to overcome certain things. It probably took you a lot to overcome that alcohol addiction, Jack, right? And maybe, a problem with overcoming some of these things, we tend to look for others to almost give us a pat on the back. Oh, that a boy. But, after a while, you realize you did it for you, Jack. And it's not like you did it for anybody else. So you have to learn to forgive yourself in this process. And it just doesn't happen overnight, right?
Well, hey, amen. You said a bunch there, Joe. I appreciate that. People, for whatever reason, I've received a mixture, right? But unfortunately, it's taken me a while to get used to so much of the negative feedback. People can be cruel and they project a lot of their nonsense. And, when it happens long enough, this gaslighting, people presenting negativity to you, you start to wonder. But sorry, I totally distracted the conversation from there, didn't I? Where were you at?
Well, I think I believe it could have something to do with people tend to shed light on other people's problems rather than the man in the mirror, right?
Yes.
It's proven. My worst enemy exists within me. It's my thinking that always gets me. And every
Yep.
time there is an issue or a failure, it's something I did wrong. It's
Uh,
not but boy, I'm guilty of pointing at other people. I
yep.
blame my mother for abandoning me, my father for not being there. So my grandparents had to raise me, and I'm grateful for that. So I have a totally different, my grandparents went through the Depression, right? So
Hmm.
they ate like peanut butter and onion sandwiches and didn't waste anything, right?
No. Well, hey, that swings back to what you were saying earlier. Um, and I got distracted, but in my opinion, seems like there's been some mercy and compassion that's been lacking. And maybe I've been lacking in my offers of compassion. Certainly merciful. I feel compassionate of others. I feel like I understand them, but holy cows, man, people have been just punishing for so long. And what I am trying to get across to people is look, if you see someone down, there's no point kicking them when they're down, you know? If you see someone struggling, what can you offer? Most people don't realize they can offer anything or think they can't offer anything, and so they feel bad. And so since they feel bad, they share their hurt, their fear, their disappointment. All of us, all of us are able to be much more. And when we have faith in others, if I know you're facing a problem, if I've got faith in you, I'm going to be encouraging and maybe even offer ideas for a solution. If I don't have faith in you, well, then I'm just going to think you're going to be stuck with that problem. And I might even enable your problem. This is where the world is at. We got to be able to accept each other and ourselves for where we are at. Because where we are at today, it's not the totality, right? I've been through periods of wealth, short periods of wealth. I've been through periods of poverty with worse poverty than I've got today. So life is just change. And we're all in this together, though. We really are.
Well, I would agree with a lot of that, Jack. And it's not just that, what we have to keep in mind is people can only give away that what they have. So if they don't have love
Mm,
or
yeah.
appreciation, gratitude, and these things,
Oh,
how
that's,
can they give it away? You see, it's,
you're right.
in my opinion, So maybe we set our expectations a little high for these people who lack that. And I see you've shown more patience. I've watched you grow with this on your journey over a year now.
Yeah. God.
And you don't lash out nearly as much as you did a year ago. So there's growth in my opinion.
I,
Others can have it, that's what opinions are about.
oh,
Everybody has their, but yeah, it's good to grow, but at the same time, you're hurting the others too. So these people are kind of hurt that you're not doing what they're doing, right? So you're not successful broadcaster that can bring in Jimmy Shively donations.
right. Yeah.
Right. So you're kind of the maybe right now the black sheep of the broadcasting YouTube, or you were You were used for comedy a lot there
Yep.
for a while, rather than like you said, right? So people, we all, and then you began to think so you had to overcome that obstacle, which can be an obstacle when people take you as a clown, and then you begin to think that. Yeah, that can be tough to just overcome that. So sometimes you should, maybe it's what we put out there too, is what we're going to get, right? And whatever we're willing to tolerate, probably, right? I think that's what Sterling Ray said. Whatever you're willing to tolerate is what you're going to get.
Ooh, golly geez. Hey, you know what? That is true. There's laws of exchange. And I guess what we tolerate is what we get. Well, that applies too. I've been saying that's so true. With we have the government we deserve, the governments and corporations we deserve because that's what we've allowed. I was thinking earlier, Joe, about the patterns of my past, how the things I've judged, I became. I became an alcoholic. And I didn't, while I wasn't as, well, I wasn't, definitely wasn't as violent, I still became one who had a lot of anger, and then I became poor. So I faced most of my fears, I think, and I've learned not to judge things. I have prayers that I've like I said earlier, I've lived a lot of lives in this lifetime already, and I feel it's brought me a pretty well-rounded view of the world, and of people. I have prayers that wealth and abundance are part of my future. The Jimmy Shively donors are not here yet. That is true. However, I'm knocking on the doors of destiny and opportunity. Every time an idea comes in, I'm pursuing growth. And I see in a future very soon where Jack Talcott does make it onto some of the greater platforms, reaches greater numbers, maybe even into the mainstream media through getting invited to speak with the people of Congress too. Never know what the future is going to bring, and those are the goals I have.
So you think maybe you're a little bit of a product of your environment, to say, when you were a veteran, right? So welcome, welcome home, right?
Thank you.
Because that's what is supposed to be. I appreciate what you initially thought you signed up for, right? And then to have to find out you were a pawn, right? And that's usually what these veterans have to go through, that another hurdle. Not that I'm looking or playing victim role here or nothing, but these are scars that are emotionally, lead to, can be trauma if you don't deal with them, right? It's all on how you deal with it. That's determines the outcome. And unfortunately, in that arena, that army, they drink a lot. That's just part of being a soldier, I guess. I don't know.
Dude, I don't know how it is these days. I know how it was for me. And well, let's face it, under the oath and what you are trained for, you have to really be willing to kill your humanity. Because we all know we are all, I think within us, we all have that guidance system that tells us murder is wrong. We're not here to kill each other. But this idea of enemies and defending and glory in battle, all of this nonsense that we were taught to believe in.
So was your issue of going into the service because you had some sort of issue with maybe a ticket or some sort of legal matter that led to, well, if you go in the Army, son, we'll drop the charges. Did that happen to you? Or
It wasn't directly, but dude, I was a punk. I was an angry punk kid. And I think had I not raised my hand and joined the military, I probably was heading a direction to end up in jail. Um, so I was turning into a criminal. So the military actually was the best thing for me. Um, Holy shit. Pieces are coming together even more. With mom, I was a rebellious teenager out of control. And in the military, I learned the value of discipline again. Grew up in a real strict household. Then when mom left stepdad, I she lost control of me. I was a punk. Anyway, the military helped me learn the value of discipline, the value of order, and fighting for others instead of just for myself. And then that through them break through, since I was broken from the military, that helped me get a job on a leg up at the post office. So I continued my path of learning how to serve, how to be in service to the community and fellow man. And then I also discovered my union. And the union, I was talking to just the other day, I was blessed to be able to have lunch with an old friend from the union, a guy who kind of brought me into the fold, so to say. But through the union, the American Postal Workers Union, what they taught me how to become a better man. They taught me how to become a better leader. It wasn't directly, it was indirectly, but the union taught me how to fight with words rather than violence. And ever since the post office and the union, I discovered Veterans for Peace. And I've been studying, trying to improve my power with words, my ability to communicate. And eventually, well, I want to see how far God will allow me to go. It all depends on lots of factors. What do you think, Joe? Crazy story.
I think with the discipline, you begin to develop some structure, right? That's without that discipline, you have no structure, and that's where you become incorrigible, right?
Yeah.
Nobody can handle you, right?
Yes.
And that's when we get put in a cage, probably, or they have. So yeah, I have a similar path. I could probably go on for. Without the military experience, I lack that. But yeah,
Did you go college route?
Incorrigible. I was incorrigible, as a youth.
Were you? Did you go the college route, or did you just rebel?
No, I didn't even. I wasn't able to graduate from their indoctrination center, right?
Yeah.
So 10th grade, I'm 10th grade education. Basically a computer illiterate, right? So I really can't navigate the internet that well. I by choice, because I've never it's never been appealing enough for me to want to learn computer science or anything like that. You see my avatar here, I'm out in the woods, right?
Right.
So yeah, I don't know if you can notice, those are trees and sun, right? All that shit in the background, that's nature, right? That's where I prefer to exist. I really do.
Looks beautiful.
Like I said, I jumped in the river. I'm up here on Michigan, right? And it's normally really cold on Michigan in the wintertime, but I jumped in the river yesterday. It was pretty cold. To where the point where I went numb. It's like that.
Hey,
It can be exuberating, and but then to have to walk back to my truck,
that's the tough part. The
yeah, it can be.
aftercare. Yeah. Do you do have you come across Wim Hof and his cold therapy stuff he teaches?
Yeah, I saw that before, but I've been practicing it long before. This is
Good.
something. So when we fill the swimming pool up in the springtime here with the just hose water, that's pretty cold water, and normal people can't even
Yeah.
handle that, right? And I'll do underwater laps while the pool is being filled, you know.
Well, it's filling up. Good for you.
Yeah, I don't mind sitting in cold water, you know, and I work like 30 below zero is pretty much my shut off because my eyelids will freeze shut when I blink at like 30 below zero, and I really can't take much more after that.
Dude, yeah, that's far beyond anything what I've pushed myself. Are you willing to share what part of Michigan you're at? I don't know the state, but others are asking.
Yeah, so I'm at like Rochester, you know, it's like 12, it's like 15 miles, 20 miles from Detroit.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know, but
I
yeah, oh, you know, come to think of it, hey, now that you're going to be on the move, I wonder if we could exchange like some information because I have things about postal service and post office, right? So the post office actually still exists within the postal service, you see, as part of the bankruptcy that occurred. So there's actually congressional records that exist that allow me to use a 2-cent stamp. So I can send anything a half ounce with no zip code attached, and it's first class non-domestic with a 2-cent stamp. Meaning, so from Michigan, I could send something through the post office separate from postal service using a 2-cent stamp and a congressional record attached. Kind of a wizard little, but wizard says it's still their jurisdiction, right? Even though there's no zip code attached, and it says on there first class non-domestic. So you know what non-domestic means. Domestic is, right?
mm-hmm.
Domestic means within the United States.
Right.
I send this non-domestic. It says right on there. It's pretty cool. No
That's
zip code.
fast.
Says zip exempt.
It's interesting, and I'd be interested in seeing what you're doing in the private chat. I dropped my number and email. I'd be curious, but as a former employee, I'd mark it up as postage due, send it on to the recipient, and ask them to pay the remaining of the postage. If they refused, it'd be sent to the mail recovery center probably.
Right. So that's what most, and that's where I consider that to be like a gatekeeper, right? But the sorter will already do this. Or they're taking it maybe to the, it goes through a Metroplex here. What is a Metroplex? Do you know?
I don't know. Maybe a local
Ever hear that?
processing facility.
But yeah, so when I tell the people at the post office I'm going to do this, because they ask me, why do you need 2-cent stamps? They're unaware they even have 2-cent stamps when I purchase the 2-cent stamp. Then I proceed to tell them what I'm using them for. Some of them think I'm just adding it to the other stamp to make the postage due, but you're claiming that you would deliver the package or the letter and make the recipient pay postage due to receive it?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what they think too, but you can't do that. That's kind of that would be like a shakedown. That's like blackmail. Wouldn't you agree? That's a form of, if you want your letter, you owe me this. No, it would have to go back to return to sender. They would have to return it to me for postage due.
I'll come back to this. I want to thank. Oh my goodness. I couldn't help it. I had to do that again. Tarek, thank you, brother, for the contribution, for the donation, and and for the creative support I have. And I heard someone knock at the door.
Good. That's positive. Maybe somebody maybe Provo's coming in. No,
I'd be
I mean,
surprised.
Provo has talent. I find Provo to have some talent. He's not a Christian. He's a Mormon, but they're not much different.
He's a damn good man. He's very talented, very creative. There's so many talented, amazing, creative people I've met here. And for the love of Pete, I don't know why. I don't know what I can do or what I need to do in order to work with others. People have been very unwilling to work with me ever since I devoted myself to God. People don't want to work with me anymore. It's crazy.
Oh, I found when I was drug addicted and alcoholic, everybody wanted to help me get sober. Everybody wanted to, help me get clean. Everybody was a part of anything, all it would take for me to get arrested. They go looking for me in the neighborhood. Where's he at? You seen him? Right? So looking in bars for me, right? Then I get sober and it's like, yeah, I lost a lot of people that I feel better though. I don't want people to be looking for me. And, I could use help because I have a 12-year-old daughter, right, that lives with me.
Oh,
and it can be difficult attempting to raise a woman when, I'm just lacking that feminine attribute, right? I'm not like I'm not a housewife. I'm just not. And then they have that menstrual cycle. They bleed once a month, these women. And I don't know how to, I have to explain all that. She started that when she was 10 years old, Jack. My daughter started her period when she was 10.
Hey,
that was rough.
Brother, I want to congratulate you sincerely, okay? Because dad raising a daughter, that is a challenge. That's an adventure for you for sure. So the fact that you recognize that you're limited. I don't know all the answers. I don't know necessarily. That humility, brother, you guys can learn together, and through your guidance, through your guidance and example, she will see what a good man is, right? So that she knows what to look for in a man when she grows older. And through your wisdom and your guidance, you're going to help her develop into a strong young woman. I'm sure of that.
Thank you, Jack. Yeah, that's part of the issue for me. My struggle is, as a society, we've forgotten our roles, right? So even her own mother doesn't have the like I said, if you don't have the ability to give something away, you just don't have it. So
You know
her own
what?
mother lacks the nurturing, the things that are necessary as a mother, you know.
Hey, Joe, that's another part, though, too, I want to touch on our responsibilities, right? That is an incredible responsibility, a father and a child. That it's a great responsibility. What men do, though, sometimes is we'll wear these responsibilities as burdens, and all of a sudden you know our opportunity to care for, to be there, to do whatever it is, to support, all of a sudden our opportunity to do that now becomes an obligation that sometimes we resent, sometimes we complain about. But gratitude, that really is the key. Gratitude and curiosity, like you said, Joe, being able to recognize and receive, to know what you've received, and then you can share it. I don't know. Any thoughts, man?
No, I just it's been good being able to talk with somebody that's at least like-minded. I mean, we share a lot, and that's, I think, people may be lacking that rather than finding common what we have in common. We tend to find a lot of people today want to look at the end differences
Yeah.
and that's where the divide, you know, starts to come into play, where there's more division than there is unity.
Dude, that is it. Okay. I can't remember spiritually where you're at, but I'm pretty open, and I think you know where I'm coming from. But so God multiplies, nature multiplies. Man's all worried about addition and subtraction, profits and debts, nonsense. Balance the ledger. But God works through multiplication. Satan, the opposer, it works through division. How divided are we? How divided will we allow ourselves to become? Every time we divide ourselves, separate ourselves from someone else, we are fracturing ourselves from opportunities of inclusion, of cooperation, collaboration. Hey, I am feeling blessed. I won't make people suffer. But actually, sincerely, thank you. Um I'm truly grateful for the donations. Doggone it. I know there's new ones that were given to me. Tarek, thank you, brother. I want Paul and OTW to know you will not get it. Hey, brothers, Paul, OTW, if you're streaming, restreaming, checking in, it appears you will not get any contribution from Tarek Crew T until you change and respect. Oh, until you change and respect Jack. Any contributions I make is to Jack. Blessings to you, brother. Um, I want to caution. Don't go to war. Okay. I trust. Actually, I trust your heart, and I see what you are. You are working towards peace. I honor that. Bribery. Sometimes you got to bribe the children to get them to cooperate. and if the bribery doesn't work, you take the bribes away, and jealousy will get the children to cooperate. Brilliant, Tarek. um this world we live in, man, it can drive us nuts. But where I'm sitting at right now, I'm looking at the screen. I can't really see it there, but where I'm sitting at right now, it's, what is this, Thursday afternoon at 4:44 p.m. my time on 2/22/24. I see the evening sunlight coming through the windows, and it's just reflecting off the wall here in my home. And that soft light of the evening that is just so, it's so comfortable. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know that evening light that comes through the window. It's cold outside. It's bitter cold where I'm at. I think around 30 degrees, but here in the chilly winter month, with the warm light of the sunlight, right? In the here and now. In the here and now, brothers and sisters, this is where the presence of God is known. Presence of God is, it is all things. It's all things we want it to be, and so are you. All of us. We are all so much more than what we've allowed ourselves to believe. We are so much more than what the world has told us to believe. What I want to encourage everyone to do, please, start building your own practice. I want others, if tell you what, this would make me so happy. If others tuning in today received the inspirations for themselves and started working on developing their own practice of gratitude, so that they too become proud in their practice of gratitude, because they know that whatever life brings forth, whatever struggles or pains or challenges, everyone knows that the gratitude of the past is going to carry them through it, and this too shall pass. And beyond the darkness, with the hope and with the light that we carry, there's a new world waiting for us. It's waiting for us all. Joe, were you going to pop in? I've been going on.
Oh no, I would add to your sunlight. So
Please.
when the sun, your sunlight comment there, when the sun is at that point in the sky, that's when I choose to be in it, right? Because your eyes will absorb the vitamin D that's being given off from the UV rays from the sun at that point. Actually, it's beneficial. So that's the only way you get vitamin D is through sunlight. Natural vitamin D. You can't get it. Everything else is a supplement. Okay. And your body truly doesn't absorb these supplements.
Not as well. Not as.
But yeah, you can eat. I eat sunlight whenever, every chance I can get.
That's beautiful. It's been a while since I've practiced that, but I imagine I think I understand what you're talking about. There is something amazing and mystical, the way our bodies are connected to nature, to the sun in the sky, to the water that in the streams, in the lakes, right? There is a mystical, magical, divine connection between who we are and where we come from. And I'm not just talking about the neighborhood ghetto or the neighborhood block. I'm talking about Mother Earth.
Yeah. I have difficulties with entering into Detroit because of the derelict buildings and just the way things are just tore up, and you can tell there was no appreciation, right? The buildings are all tore up. Everything is like just falling apart and derelict. And yeah, it can make your mind feel a different gloom is what it brings, right? Totally different, than
sorry,
a city atmosphere. I can't be in big cities. I can't do it.
There's something about it that I love. I love the nightlife. I love the social atmosphere. Amsterdam, the nightlife of Amsterdam, the nightlife of Las Vegas. Those are some of my favorite memories, even though admittedly I was pretty well drunk much of the time. It was the energy of that I loved. Um, I don't know. I have hopes for the future. I mean, I grew up in the country. And don't get me wrong, as much as I love the nightlife and the social, I will go hug a tree. So, I mean, I'll confess my love to a tree very quickly. you know, um, I'm a nature guy as well. And I think we all have so many different archetypes, so many different personalities within who we are when we allow ourselves, even when we allow ourselves to be authentic, maybe especially when we allow ourselves to be authentic, that's when the environment will bring out the different energies. And I like the energies I am. I like the energies I share. Something that came up earlier, I think it was this stream, something about the society. I am the result of the society that created me. I'm the result of all the things of my past, from the education to the media to everything. It created me. I never liked who I was. I didn't like who I became, but I'm hoping others will join me. It's time to recreate. I was going to say, in the past, I used to say, I'm here to destroy the society that created me. It's not so much destroy, that's not the goal. The goal is to correct, to improve, to restructure the society that created me. Because the one that created me in the past was selfish. The selfishness of the world and my own selfishness took me into the darkness of disease, of addiction, criminal thoughts. Luckily I didn't pursue the criminal deeds, but I certainly experienced my own path of hell, the absence of God, the absence of love. It's real. There's people living with an absence of God and an absence of love right now. They might not even realize it. I don't know. Hey, actually, you're right. Um, Kind of slowed down after I timed out Pro Hey, Sterling, right. Jesus came to divide, not to bring peace. Amen. We're at a different time. Following him and his ways at a different time is going to bring different results. His role was to divide, it was to expose. And actually, the way I see the story of Jesus is through him, what God did is created, allowed the perfection of man. Jesus could have strayed. And as I understood the prophecies, had Jesus misspoke or chosen to lie, chosen to fall to temptation, he would have been taken out of the picture with mercy, but taken out quick. And as I understand, Jesus was tested, but God allowed him to become perfected. And what he did was he spoke the truth perfectly. I am not he. I am not Jesus. That's for damn sure. I am as imperfect as the next. I wear glasses. I'm missing teeth. I am as imperfect as anything. However, I do consider myself a disciple of Jesus. And while he came to speak the truth perfectly, and I speak the truth imperfectly, I believe what we are here to do, those who are like me, who cling to the idea that we are children of God, those who walk to become disciples of God, we are here to share the truth of God's love, share the truth of God's blessings through our words, through our deeds, through our actions. That is what we're here to do. And so, brothers and sisters, if we choose to be disciples of Jesus and follow through with the words, well, God has created us this amazing opportunity. We have the opportunity here on earth to come together, joining together for the purpose of truth, for the purpose of love, to expose the darkness, to bring light to the lies, to the corruption, to the confusion, so that we stop letting these clowns who call themselves authority, stop letting that decide where earth is going. I truly believe that I truly believe the goals that God has instilled within me with this message, right? This message and these goals that I am filled with the desire to pursue. I believe it's biblical. I really do. I believe, well, this is the choice I made for myself based on the circumstances and where I was at. And it's the goal that I am still pursuing, and I still hope to achieve in different ways. But I wanted to become a man more like Jesus. I want to bring peace to this world. I want to be a messenger for the truth of God's love with that right there, that live without fear. You can live without fear controlling your life. It'll still exist. Just like God allows the devil to exist, God allows Satan to exist, the light allows the darkness to exist. It's not the other way around. Because as soon as the light comes forth, the darkness is gone. The light is the overpowering strength. So allow yourself to surrender to the light. Become the light. Surrender your worries, your past ways. Do that first death for yourself. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get into the religious stuff too much, but blessings to all of you. Joe, you have thoughts? I'm feeling kind of complete-ish, but what are you feeling?
I believe it is a spiritual battle, but there is a way that that religion can be used as a tool to keep us down if you believe too hard, right?
Yes.
Believing some higher spirit, like let's say for the AA approach, right, where you can't do it on your own. They'll tell you at these AA tables, right? Which I found to be malarkey. I couldn't. I know that I had to do it on my own. It took action.
You're the only one who can do it.
By me.
Yeah.
I can't just go sit in a bar and call a sponsor to come get me because I'm about to drink or I'm drunk already. I can't keep you. No, that's not how it works. Eventually, it's the man takes the action that's required to create the change. Right. And you're going to be embarking on a new journey here soon with that, Jack. Right. And, the volunteer, and I see the chat, or before when I could see the chat, it was more like the chat's upset and concerned. You're just going to go volunteer your time, which, I would agree. A volunteer may be a 1 day a week thing. Don't go volunteering a full time, Jack, because this is going to take some time.
Yes.
And whatever path you take, you might have to find a meaningless 9 to 5 or whatever, right? Just because that's what we do. Some of us do submit to that, unfortunately. But there's other avenues where who knows, you could get a cash job. It's
Dude,
hey, it's up to Jack actually at this point because it's obviously nobody at your church is coming really to help you, right?
no, they're not. I'm
No
on
one's coming to save us, Jack. No one's
well,
coming. They don't.
Joe, there you're right.
We can support you in your path, but we're not coming to save you, bro. Nobody's gonna come and save me. No one's coming to see. No one. No, it's all a path that the individual takes and creates, and the choices you make determine the outcome of tomorrow, right? Time's a
Absolutely.
depreciating asset, right? And we
Well,
only have a limited amount of time. You and I are both getting old, Jack. Right? We
that
can't be playing this game constantly with the Federal Reserve notes dictating our existence, right? We should have already had something considered, but in a broken system, how does one anticipate others even to exist? So we're in a bankrupt system with no money. That's a law. I mean, even if you had the $300,000 today to give this alleged loan, pay that alleged loan, first of all, because no loan took place. They took your signature from the promissory note and sold that motherfucker and got paid from jump. You're aware of that, aren't you?
I know it's
How
it's
the
a
banking
it's a
system took
Ponzi.
advantage of you?
It's that
And so now
three-card
it's
Monte.
the ignorance of the population.
I know. I know. So
It's an ignorant population. So the mortgage is actually a death sentence, right?
right,
That's a,
we've been conned.
and look what it's done to you, bro. It's probably it's taken 10 years off your life dealing with this fucking mortgage. Mortgage is a death sentence, man.
Right.
And the
Worse than
interest on it is just it's asinine. It does. And then at the end, you don't get your promissory note back. Nobody gets their promissory note back, right?
mhm.
Nobody gets that back. And then you're listed as the tenant on the mortgage. So you're never an owner, right? It never says owner on
Right.
anybody's
Joe,
mortgage.
Joe,
You're a tenant.
yes, it's criminal. It is absolutely criminal. The entire system. It's corrupt, and we've got a lot of good people who don't know better, but they are enforcing and imposing the corrupt system on other people, and that's exactly what's happening with me. People have been imposing the corrupt system and taking advantage of my situation, and this is what I know. This is my path. I'm not complaining, but I'm saying at some point it's going to change. And at some point, when it changes, I think the people who have been so vocal about opposing me, I think they'll be singing a different tune at that time. And I look forward to the different tunes that are sung when the truth is known. Because this criminal system, it can be corrected. And this is just what I was talking about. I truly believe that this is the time. This is the shift. Hey, actually, Joe, I'm going to wrap this up I'm going to throw this in as my final thoughts. You have anything more, brother?
No, I appreciate your time. Thanks for having me up, Jack. Have a blessed night.
Hey, Joe, thank you.
I'll contact you later or something, right?
Please do. Please do. We can chat offline
Shalom.
or wherever. Shalom, brother. Hey, I did not see what's happening. I tell you what, man. I don't know what to do. What do I do? Hopefully that will help. I've added Tarek to the mod crew. I didn't see you blocked either though. Okay, not today. Maybe in the past. Maybe in the past. Or maybe you're blocked over there. I don't know. Tarek, I love you, brother. Thank you for your contributions. Joe, thank you sincerely for joining the panel. Was there others on the panel today? I think there might have been, but maybe not. Sincerely, and Provo, if you probably took off, but if you're still there listening, I love you, my friend. I really do. Your doubts, your doubts are not mine to burden. And this is what I've realized. Who I am, I'm an average Joe. I'm just like many of you. Hey, just getting ready to shut down, Steve, but blessings and welcome for joining. Um, oh, wait a minute. Is that not the real Tarek? I don't even know, man. I don't even know anymore. What am I do? I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. People are nuts, man. This life is crazy. It doesn't have to be so confusing. If people were just authentic about what they want to do, right? People aren't authentic about what they want. I think people are pretty clear about what they don't want. And if that's you, if you're just focused on what you don't want, if that's all you can see is the things you don't like, the things you don't believe, if all you're doing is looking for lies, what are you doing? You're missing the story. You're missing the glory. Because the glory of God's production is the happening that is right now. There is a production system that's happening within yourself at all hours of your life, all hours of your day. Your body is digesting and cleansing and processing and storing and removing. Your body is constantly in the process of rejuvenation and decay. And that is what life is. But if all you're focusing your mental energy on is the decay, is the negativity, is the darkness, ask yourself, why? Why am I so limited in what I see? Why am I so limited in what I can discover? Is there not other things? What am I ignoring? Because, brothers and sisters, I spent many, many years uncomfortable in my skin, not knowing, have I saved enough? Have I earned enough? Oh my God, am I gonna be okay in the future? I was always worried. Then I found faith. And then after my faith, God gave me some things to worry about. I had to learn how to feel safe without the comfort of financial security, without the comfort of someone holding me at night or someone to hold at night, without the comfort of, a regular paycheck, of knowing that there was a community of support around me. And I know I'm not alone. I know there's a lot of people out there who are living these lives without the comfort of other things. However, there's also many people living surrounded with comfort, surrounded with support and blessings. All they find is the negativity. And I used to be that way. I used to be just like that. Hey, Provo, welcome, brother.
How's it going, Mr. Talcott?
I am feeling blessed and I am grateful to have you here. I would love to have conversations about some of the things you're asking about or commenting about.
All right, go right ahead.
Well, I'm not sure where we seem to be on different pages about maybe what I'm seeking or what I'm doing.
Okay.
Well, earlier there was the statement that I had a focus on money and I was focused on 300,000. And that was just a number I pulled out because has a small significance, but dude, from day one, I've just been talking about bringing reform and trying to grow a better world. Are you there?
Yeah, I just don't want to interrupt you.
Okay. Well, I don't want it to be a monologue. I'd love to have a dialogue, conversation between us.
Yeah, I'm here for that. I just want to make sure you say everything you want to say.
What are your thoughts on what I've said?
So, if I understand you correctly, Mr. Talcott, you're saying your track record says you've been approaching these larger issues, and I'm failing to see that and focusing on one statement you've made regarding the 300,000. Is that what, if I understand you correctly, is that what you said?
Yeah, pretty much. Thank you. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, Mr. Talcott, my thoughts on that matter. I think, overall, your main point's largely true. I think you could say you focus on these larger issues. And then again, I might also add that, it's kind of hard to believe with all the conflict content and, the skullduggery I've seen go on in your panels, and, the mud flinging and all the incessant attacks that people fling against each other on your panel. So, in some sense you're right, some sense you're wrong. And then in regards to the money situation, again, that's something else that's been long and drawn out as well. Although you might only think you've mentioned it once, the current station you're in, I don't know how many days you have left, has been not a running theme, but it's something that you've been aware of. And also, you've kept your chat and community up to date on. So it's not just like one time you've said 300,000. It's more of the larger issue of you addressing the fact that you aren't going to have a home.
If things don't change, that is a possibility.
Yeah.
But I'm more focused on the things I'm focused on changing, right? Because I've also mentioned, you're right. I have been keeping the viewers and the chat pretty up to date. I think today it's a leap year this year. So I got 30 days left today.
Praise God.
Yeah, praise God. Exactly. Exactly. That's a long time for things to change. And last Saturday, I mentioned it's been several years, but I was finally able to have a conversation and a lunch with an old friend from the union and work. Planted the ideas with him that he could encourage the people who were involved to maybe revisit, look me up and see what they think, or praise be, even allow a schmuck like me a conversation again. Because if people talk to me here in Spokane, I don't know, I can imagine I could accomplish a lot of things, honestly.
Yeah.
But it's hard to sell myself to others, to strangers. It's challenging to sell myself to strangers because my story's complicated. I mean, just today I went to this organization. I learned about it through one of the churches I attend, and one of the guys who, I think he's the director, it's called Youth for Christ. I mentioned it earlier. I went over there today. That's where I was talking about volunteering. And my idea is not to turn this into a full-time job of volunteering, but I do have time. I've got time, at least the next 30 days. I've got security and I've got time, and I'm trying to find connections and community. So if I can find a way to service, get involved with those other people who are serving, maybe they can help open doors of communication to the local city government. I'm trying to speak to them as well. So
I like that, Mr. Talcott. The one thing I'd like to say is you never hit a target you're not aiming at. And it sounds like you're not aiming at housing or some type of. You're just like putting it in God's hands, right? And I mean, sure, I'm not going to tell you that's the wrong thing to do, but that's the way I look at it. Is you're going to fall flat on your face, and then you're just going to say, well, I guess that's where God wants me, instead of picking a target and going towards it. What's up, Tariq?
What's
That's
up?
pretty observant, Provo. I'm going to reflect on that, but it's not quite as you described. Yeah, welcome, Tarek. Good to see you, brother. Thank you, by the way.
You too, Jack. Oh no, of course not.
Were you showing up with thoughts or just joining? I want to give you space.
I'm joining.
Okay.
I'm just hearing Provo. I want to see what he has to say
All right. I appreciate
because
it.
it seems like Provo, Crystal, all the monkeys, Paul's monkeys.
Are you calling me
always
one
come
of Paul's monkeys? You
No,
fuck?
not you, no, Provo, not you. I promise, not you. No, I'm talking about that. I'm sorry, not you. The Paul's monkeys always come on Jax and always want to bring up the house. It's so fucking pathetic. Paul, OTW, hear me out. It will not happen. I will make it work. I'm just making sure that some other people will join in and contribute and help Jack to get through. Because I can do it all by myself.
Hey, I appreciate this. Tarek, here's where I'm at. I wanted, if I may, I'd like to address a couple of things that are happening here regarding the chat too. Well, first, Chuck is calling out visions of grandeur. See, Chuck has a lot of insulting opinions about me, so God forbid Jack has some actual pride or actual belief in himself. Chuck doesn't understand a man like that. At least I obviously confuse him, but Chuck had a year to do something about roof overhead, but no plans. That's a false representation. Then you jump into your visions of grandeur. Again, you're expressing your lack of clarity, Chuck. You're just blurting out opinions. And are you doing it to help them or further your goal? Chuck, what do you think? Can it not be both? Would it be wrong of me to believe that I can help the youth in our impoverished part of town? Is it wrong of me to believe that I can help others? And is it wrong of me to believe that God might reward me for helping others? Chuck, see, your confusion is not my problem. So, Chuck, if you don't change your attitude, your constant negativity and constant disagreements with me, Chuck, leave my stream and my channel in peace. Don't come back. I'll block you and you can stay unheard of if you can't control yourself.
That's fair, Jack.
Thank you. The way that people have been towards me, it's just fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Yes,
Yeah,
peace,
it's pathetic,
peace
Jack.
to everyone. The machine lies. Peace to everyone. Friend is everyone, Welcome, the machine lies.
I sense some animosity in that, Jack. Are you not cool with the machine lies?
I just see the duplicity in many, yourself included, Provo.
Whoa.
No, he's right, Provo. No, Provo.
Oh,
Hold on one
hey,
second.
Tariq. Hey, before you say my name, why don't you talk about Paul for another 10 minutes?
Hey, stop.
Okay,
Stop.
come on, Provo. All I'm saying, Provo, is okay. TML is a great guy, right? He has some things he has to work on, right? We all do. Poking him about his wife, and I think that's not good coming from you, especially that you are a man of God, right? So think about that, Provo. I'm not hating on you, Provo. I like you actually. I think you're very bright.
Well, that's a nice backhanded compliment. I appreciate that.
All I'm saying is, you guys you're both like very smart and bright, and both have a lot of things going for you. You have to find peace. Like, I don't understand why you guys keep going back and forth on little things like that when you guys are very brilliant.
What are you talking about? I don't even understand what the fuck you're saying, dude.
Because you and him are always going back on the wife thing and some words.
I never
That's why.
talk about the wife thing. What are you talking about? You're making no fucking
Okay,
sense.
maybe you know what? Maybe it's TB. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, that's not me, and that's not me at all, dude.
I apologize, Provo. I
You
promise.
don't even,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
you gotta figure out who the fuck you're talking to, man.
No, I apologize.
Okay,
Hey,
cool.
thank you, Tarek.
Apology accepted.
There you go. I think there might be some misunderstandings between what you were offering, but what I mentioned you too, Provo, in the I've seen signs, and I don't know. Actually, I don't know if you heard my comments earlier, Provo, when what was his name? Joe was up here. We were talking about your talent, and I said I would love a chance. I see the talent of you. Um, so many people, Talcott Clip, the Gorilla Gems guy. I mean, even Cynthia, even Tommy. There's so many talented people who have these skills. I don't know what do I have to do to be worthy of a conversation about working together. I mean, I've mentioned I would love to work together with a lot of different people and make myself available, but people don't really try to talk with me, try to understand me. They certainly don't reach out to me much offline. And yet there's all these opinions going cast around. I get people like Chuck in the chat every friggin' day insulting me. And it's like, why? How many? I mean, I know some people are starting to speak up to him about it, but I just, and it's not, and it's not just him. I mean, you see what I deal with Paul, with OTW, with all of these people. And then even good people like you, Provo, like you, the machine lies.
Yeah, but you called me duplicitous, which I don't really appreciate.
Yes.
What have I said? I've never attacked you personally.
Because for some way, again, you don't have conversations with me, but you find disappointment in me. And then you go around talking bad about me and putting me
Never
down.
have I ever went around talking bad about you.
All right.
And the funny thing is, Jack,
You're right, Provo. What I saw is in the chat today. It's not just today, but the past few days. It's been very antagonistic towards me and very.
I wasn't in your chat the past few days.
Okay, it wasn't. Well, the past couple of memories I have of you, starting today.
The last time we talked, I came onto your show after you had ended it, and we had a very cordial conversation, Jack.
Yeah.
And I gave you my thoughts and opinions, and you appreciated it. That was the last time we interacted. We had a discussion that nobody else saw. It was a private discussion after your show.
Is there imposter? I wonder if I'm going to go back and look. Maybe it was not you. Maybe it was an imposter, or I'm misremembering. But just some absolute criticism and negative chatter towards me from the chat. And that's why today my patience was limited. That's why I timed you out for a half hour.
Yeah, that was fucked up.
Well, it was fucked up for what I remember receiving and dealing with on top of the other antagonistic. I don't know if you noticed, but yesterday was I received just a bizarre onslaught of negativity, not just on the panel but off the panel. Why? Because of my circumstances.
It's unfortunate.
Yes, thank you. It is unfortunate. I wish people would show a little self-respect and maybe offer some respect for others. I'm not a man who I don't think I really run around throwing around a lot of disrespect. I mean, I try to offer mercy, compassion, encouragement, love, care. I try to be generous with the good things. And so I trust eventually, if it's not you folks here, I'll eventually find those who do appreciate me. And when we raise me up, when I am raised and in a better place, all of you doubters and haters, well, you can answer to why. I haven't received many explanations.
So now am I a duplicitous doubter and hater?
No, not that far at all, Provo. I respect you and I care about you. And for whatever reason, this is what I'm wondering. What do I have to do for you to find care and respect? Maybe you care. What do I have to do for you to find respect in me?
I respect you quite a bit, Jack. I mean, I don't see why you think I disrespect you. I mean, besides my comments in chat earlier today, I mean, overall, I think my track record with you's been overall pretty positive and supportive.
I thought so too. And so again, maybe I am misremembering. Maybe in the confusion of what I was seeing, I got the wrong names involved. So I don't. All right. A lack of trust in what I'm offering, though. I mean, the constant. Let me talk about your lack of a plan, Jack. Let me talk about your lack of investigating this. Let me talk about your lack of doing that. I'd love to discuss, what is really happening. And what really is happening is there's greater enemies in this world than just you or me. And I think if we start working together, finding ways to communicate, we could actually put some great messages together. We could, if people believe the world could change, then wouldn't we be working towards that? Am I the only one who thinks the world can change?
No, the world could change.
No, I'm not. Yes, thank you, Tarek. I know you realize.
And Jack, if you don't mind, I would like to say one thing. These people that are always like hating on you, or coming in every day, like Rand, Christos, even Paul. Okay, Jack. Well, I don't know. Sometimes if you see it, or when you had those two beautiful African American women.
Yeah.
They were so good. And then he came and started bashing them and calling them bitches and stuff. But he's doing that on purpose to make them go away, just to let you know. That's how Paul is. That's why I tell you, like, I lost so much respect for him. That's just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong.
Right.
If Paul wants to talk about it, come on.
No, hey, Tarek, you are absolutely right. But as you were sharing that, let me offer an apology to you, Provo. And if Chuck is still down there, I'll offer an apology to Chuck as well. I don't like doing this, but maybe I've been too hard on you guys, taking out some of my frustration, because certainly what Paul has been doing, he's been absolutely destructive towards me and my goals. And the fact that I have felt so alone fighting him and everybody else all at once, I guess that's where my hurt has really set in with the machine lies. I mentioned that. I was hurt. And I know my hurt is my own fault. It's my own problem. I shouldn't place expectations in people.
But Jack, it's not fair that people do that. That's what drives me crazy. And then you got Paul enslaved, the God of all hypocrites. I don't want to even go there, but all of them do that on purpose. They're trying to put you down, and they'll play games back and forth. Hey, Jack, we love you. We work together. Next day, they're bashing you like crazy, dude. Paul, get it over it. OTW, stop being Paul's bitch. Okay? That's all you do. You're Paul's bitch. I'm sorry to say it. I'm sorry to cuss Jack. That's all he does is,
Hey, Tarek,
you know,
Tarek,
yeah, I'm sorry I'm cussing.
hey, I want to offer you some support. You were generous with me today with your support. I want to offer some polite support back with you too, Tarek. In line with
Sure, no, of course.
Provo was kind of jabbing at you with. Dude, Tarek, you're living your own life, so don't let the actions of people like Paul or Tarek or OTW, forgive me. Don't let the actions and behavior of Paul or OTW take up too much of your energy, because it's real easy if they're consuming a lot of your time and energy, guess what? You'll pick up some of those patterns. And I have seen it. I'm not saying here today. I have seen you get kind of combative and play into some of those things that you're criticizing, but I just encourage you, be mindful. Okay? Please.
Yeah, I really hate talking about the dude. It's just like
It gets old.
Yeah, it gets old, and honestly, he's not that interesting, and he's predictable. He says the same shit every fucking day. I mean, great. He's great at what he does. I'll say some nice things about him. I'm sure he's a decent human being, but Jesus Christ, man, I can't stand when people talk about him all the time. It's just so fucking annoying.
It does.
No,
I agree
no
with-
offense to you, Tariq, but I just like
No,
he's
no,
not even worth
hey,
talking about.
I swear to God, Provo, you hit it right on. I agree with you 1,000%. I swear to God, I do. But here's the thing, right? He blocked me from OTW and him, right? Because I said one thing about monograph, right? I never came back. OTW has been putting memes on me for like the past 2 weeks. Dude, come on, get it a life. Are you that low?
Yeah, maybe if you would stop interacting with them and stop talking about them, they'd leave you alone, dude.
Obviously, they're not. I have not been on. I swear to God, I haven't
You
done
came
anything
on
to
this
them.
panel
Zero.
talking about them. Like, why
No,
even
I have
talking?
not. No, I never do. Never
Look,
do. For the
Tariq.
past 2 weeks, never.
Look, I'm autistic too, and I get these tendencies you might have, dude. But you just gotta let it go, man.
Okay, I agree with you. Let it go. We'll go for peace and love, and I'll
And,
keep it. I'll keep. God.
and I, first of all, I accept your apology, Jack, and I apologize to you as well.
Thank you.
And here's something with my autistic tendencies I struggle with. Sometimes it's difficult for me to know what to talk to you about. So you bring up all these ideas, and sometimes you bring up your situation, and I think that opens the door for people to talk
right.
about. And
You're
I think I need to be a little bit more self-aware, which is difficult for me, and understanding where you want to drive your conversation and what you'd like to talk about. So I'll work on that on myself, Jack. So I apologize to you as well.
Provo, I love you. Sincerely, you're a good man. I can imagine you being a very good father as well. Your awareness and your methods, you just pointed out, I'm learning and growing as well, and different people react and interact in different ways. And I know you care. I've seen your care. It's been obvious. So thank you, Provo, for allowing us to overcome the misunderstanding.
course, man. And I'm sorry I provoked a little bit. Sometimes I get a little in character, you know. I can't help it.
It's beautiful. It's who
Yeah.
you are.
And sorry for going at you, Tariq. I think you're probably a decent guy. I don't know really anything about you, but yeah, my bad, dude.
No. I swear to God, you are on point, man. I can't, tell you
All right.
anymore. You're on point.
And with that, Jack, I'm sure you want to wrap up the show. Maybe you want some last words for yourself, but you wanted me to come up, clear the air. I think I did that. I'll let Tariq have the last words. He might have something else to say. You guys can elaborate a little bit further on some ideas. God bless you both. God bless the chat. Have a great upcoming weekend.
Provo, thank you, brother. I respect and appreciate you. We've got a guest in the back, Papa Luigi. I love you deeply, but I'm not going to bring you to the panel. Okay. I'm
Jack,
ready to wrap up.
I'm sure Paul sent them. Yeah, I'm sure Paul sent them. Say, hey, go out there and do something.
Even if it wasn't sent, I'm sure he's coming. He's showing with that purpose. It's fascinating. Tarek, I am going to wrap up. Thank you again. Anything else from you?
No, thank you so much. Have a great night and relax, and we'll see you tomorrow, Jack.
All right, brother. Thank you. I appreciate you for joining. And sincerely, an interesting stream. Provo, thank you. And the donations, sincerely, all of you. Some of the comments, though, some of the interesting personalities. Alexander Supertramp. I wanted to address this after the others because this is just my experience, but I am an honest and authentic man. I claim you are wrong. Paul is not he is a great tester. He's not a great teacher. He does not hold himself accountable whatsoever. When it comes to the truth, he does not. He alleges he holds others accountable for the truth, but he does not apply the same standards to himself. He's manipulative, and he doesn't even realize he's wrong. And many of the people who support him and so are so enamored by his confidence and his arrogance, all of those people who are so enamored by young Mr. Paul Unslaved, they don't realize he's wrong, just like he doesn't realize he's wrong. And so all of these people, Papa Luigi and many other people, old enough to know better, have been influenced by this, by the arrogance, by the very convincing, duplicitous nature of self-serving individuals. That is not me. Brothers and sisters, there is very little about me that is self-serving. If anything, I'm generous or forgiving to a fault. I'm almost too kind. And maybe that is some of the criticism. Some of the criticism I receive, it's truthful. It is. I do wonder, am I going to look back and say, wow, Jack, you should have just taken any job. You should have gone and gotten that job. You should have done this. Am I going to say that? Possibly, potentially. One of my ideas today, though, again, I'm not here looking for jobs. I'm looking for investments in return of the value. I have given ideas again. If you are a business owner, I can help implement ideas. And I thought about reaching out to some of the businesses around here, particularly those who have union representation. I'm very good at understanding, and that's a work environment I understand. I can help develop I can help develop programs. I've got a lot of value and potential available that I can sell. Yes, this is a world where everything is for sale, but praise God, my faith is in God. My faith is live without fear. Because in the absence of fear controlling our lives, when we find the fear, here's what you do. I'm going to wrap this up here. But here's what you do. When fear creeps into your life, and notice the fear through guilt, shame, regret, hate, despair, all this negative feelings. When the negative feelings show up in your life, recognize it humbly as a sign of fear. So don't be afraid of the fear. Don't be afraid of your anger, your disgust, but don't let it control you. Don't let it move you. Don't let it consume you. Look beyond. Look beyond the fear, the hate, the anger, the resentment, the guilt to find the love. What is the love? Because all of these feelings, the fear and everything, it's an inversion of love. So find the love in your feeling. The love may be the changes that you want to bring forth, right? Because we can only know what we've learned. What we've not learned, we don't know. And if you don't know something, well, you're just uninformed. Or maybe you're just ignorant. Maybe you just don't know the answer is there. But if you know the answer is there and you choose to stay ignorant, I call that stupid. There's a lot of stupid people in this world. This is not one of them. Stay Gold Radio, 5 contribution. This is wisdom. There is no fear in faith. The two cannot exist at the same time. It's not possible. Why would you want it to be? Faith and fear, they both come from logic, reasoning, conclusions, come from knowing. Okay, so the faith and the fear, they're ideas. So don't let the ideas of fear move you. Allow the love to move you. Have faith in love. Love your faith. Love your life. Love, here's the title of the stream. Love the glory of God's production, because that's what life is really about, sincerely. Once again, genuinely, all of those who contributed with your resources, economically, financially, with the fiat, the donations, those of you who invested with your time, your attention, your care, your energy, your love, I hope in return of that you take with you some appreciation, some true joy. Take a little bit of joy, take a little bit of faith, and definite appreciation in the glory of God's production. God's production is this day. Thank you again for participating in this day with me. Until next time, please choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. Thank you, and God bless us all.